or I've set it on
Yes,
record.
you did it. You did.
I set it on record. I'm
Yes, you
gonna
did.
for a few minutes just to go finish up some stuff, but it's recording, and I shall be right back.
Islam. So Empress Shasha will tribute this by email to anyone who wills to have it. Okay, so we're not going to put this up on YouTube ourselves. Now, if you all wish to put it up on YouTube, you're free to do so, but we're not going to do it from our perspective because it is specific information, and so the merchants who are doing these specific things, you just have no idea yet. Some of you know already, but this is the most powerful move we could ever make besides nationality and courts. This is the move right here. So let me just tell you, Islam, Empress. Empress Shernette, were you going to make a statement?
I was just about to say that I affirm what you're saying. Yes.
Ooh, I have goosebumps just thinking about it.
I just wanted to ask, where do I go to get what you finna bless us with? Is there certain links I got to click on?
They're under the video. There's 40 documents that we have put out. Start with the first 6 first, though. The first 6 documents. Have you proclaimed your nationality? That's our question. Have you proclaimed your nationality? Because that's what makes any of this other information work.
Yeah. I got to start all over and do it all over again because I did it a long time ago, and ain't no telling what I didn't do. So I'll start fresh and do it all over again.
So if you did it a long time ago in your heart, it's done already. There is a format that is a good. It has worked for us. That we would encourage you to put, since you're doing the 40 documents anyway.
Yes.
But particularly the first 6, because the first 6, everything else hinges on you knowing the first 6. The first 6 is nationality proclamation, judicial proclamation, a lien, and the lien process we do is by affidavit, and the link that's under this video, or, well, it won't be on, that's under any of our videos at Like Tajiri Bay channel. The link that's under there will show you documents that are numbered from 1 to 40 something, and then there are other documents with it. But there, the lien on the nom de guerre war name and a lien on the quote-unquote social security number, because what you're going to do is restate those things. So it's not that you're throwing them away, it's that you're putting them in the proper state, which is your estate. Okay? You have to take them out of the hands of fake capitalists who capitalized all of that. You have to take it out of that arena and put it in and put it under your sovereign authority. And then after that, that's number 3 is the lien on the nom de guerre war name and a lien, and we do that's just one lien on both. Then we do a lien on the U.S. corporation company. Then the 5th document is a termination of all corporate contracts, and that's corporate under the dead corpse U.S. debtor system. And then a fiduciary document which will allow all of those things that you have terminated, you can restate them properly so that they're under your sovereign authority as well. So the fiduciary document is the 6th document. Okay. So for anyone who is participating in this, those 6 documents are necessary, but it's also necessary as merchants, because you have to be able to move money around and stuff like that from the highest levels. So those 40 documents, when you read them, you'll see exactly what we're talking about currency controller, about governor, about law enforcement, about state secretary. We are all of those offices because we're the ones who put those offices on the land. And that is what has made it so that we can move money around like we do. without anybody kicking the door in saying you can't do that. So those documents are very important, and your absorption of that information, and really the information is coming from within you. So it's more like understanding what's already in you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the link to that is under any of the videos, and what we'll do is if someone could go to Light Tajiri Bay channel and just pull the link and pop it in the chat, that would be great. So that Justice David can do what he wills to do regarding those things. Let me just tell you, Morris, merchants, chief justices, this is the most powerful move just since we started putting things out. You will probably, nobility, you'll probably have to go out and come back in so you can hear. This is a personal event. And when we say personal, we mean in propria persona. Okay. Maybe we should just go ahead and put it there. Let's do this really quickly. Go to our page and put it up here. Any of our videos, here is the link. Here's the link to one of our videos, and then you can, Islam, thank you, Empress. Empress Sharnette put it in the yes, and Empress Anagel put the link in the chat as well. Thank you both, Empresses. I'm just so honored and so grateful to both of you. You don't know how important it is to us that we don't have to do everything all at once.
See?
You know, we have some powerful emperors and empresses, but I'm gonna speak to the empresses for just a moment. You're very powerful, extremely powerful. And we're just so grateful because this move right here that we're making is led, this process is led by the empresses because the estate comes from our wombs. However, that doesn't take away not 1 ounce, 1 nanobot of power, 1 ounce of power from our sons. So we're grateful for that also. Let me say this as we get started here. This Congress has issued some very important lawful and legal documentation. We stated for the record that fake paper by the U.S. their private commercial paper is not valid. We stated that years ago. And not only did we state it, but we did all of the actions where our courts are concerned to put that on the public record and let everyone know. So it's called due process for law. Let me tell you that the subjects have enacted an uprising against what they called the Great Taking, because they know it's already done, the Great Taking. But we're going to prove that to you, and first, it's already proven through your documentation. What the Great Taking is from the enacted perspective is that it consists of all property rights having been removed, it's already done, having been removed from U.S. private commercial paper, previously doing enacted business as U.S. securities. So any of those fake green things, any contracts, this includes mortgages, deeds, things they were calling dollars, certificates, licenses, anything put out by the U.S. corporation company. It has the actual physical property has been removed from those documents. because the documents were not valid in the first place. And then all we did was cover everything. That's all we did was cover it. Cover it, claim it properly, assign competent jurisdiction and all of that to all the things. So now what's happening is that the subjects, this enactment that they're doing, that they're calling the Great Taking, means that presumed property rights have been separated and removed from the private commercial paper. And additionally, all U.S. bankrupt corporations, this is why they're enacting being so, feeling like they got to do something, is because all of the bankrupt corporations included the property that they brought to them as collateral in the bankruptcy proceedings. So if anyone who had a deed with the quote unquote county corporation, or anyone who has a mortgage from a mortgage company, anyone who has anything that they have purchased, quote unquote, with fiat, we called in the bankruptcy some years back. We had to go through the due process. We did the court actions on the bankruptcy. We declared them bankrupt on the public record and everything. And then what happened is all of those corporations that were declared bankrupt said that any paper that they have that's naming a property, that's part of the bankruptcy and it has to be taken. That's why they call it the Great Taking. Now, I'm going to give you a link to what we're watching with regard to this particular action. This is the link on the screen, and I'll put it in the chat really quickly, because what they're doing is, and it's just, they can see that what they're doing is futile. It's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because they're seeing that as they go to the people that they think are state legislators, that they can't do anything. And they show that in this documentary, quote unquote. It's not docking our mental, it's docking their mental. That's why they call it a documentary. And what they're doing is they're trying to run around now and find ways to get around what has already happened. Because, see, it was included in the contracts that they signed, but they're now acting like they didn't know that. Now, remember, they've been supposedly buying and selling homes and doing investments and selling stocks and bonds and all of this and that and the third. Every one of the contracts had a clause whereby the corporations, if they became insolvent, they could take back everything, every stitch of property, every piece of wood, everything, every brick, every mortar, everything. And so this, I've been watching this for a while. We introduced it to the Congress about probably 3 years ago when we first saw the response to the enacted response to what we're doing. Now, the reason I say enacted, Morris, is because what we're doing doesn't have any, we don't have to talk to them about it. We don't need any permission from them. We're not going to get involved in anything that they're doing because they're still actors. All we have to do is keep doing what we've been doing, which is stay focused on getting our merchant things out there, getting our commerce out there. See, we have the courts and the government. We got that. That's a wrap. It's a wrap on courts and government. We don't even speak unless it's a court action. So we have the part that's above all corporations and companies and commerce. You know, our government is not a corporation, but we have an arm of government that does commerce and mercantilism. So and mercantile actions, judicial mercantile actions. So now they're running around and they're saying that, you know, and we get this. They're saying that, you know, that they worked hard for all of their stuff and all this and that. But see, our ancestors worked hard for it too before they came here. And this is not a revenge thing. It's just, you know, they used to say it's just business. Well, it's this is the law for us. And so again, we're not at war with them. It was our stuff to begin with. From the very beginning, it was ours, always ours. They knew that. And so what's happening now is that the final removal, because what they're talking about in the Great Taking, in their enactment, is they're saying we have to go to Congress and fight for the rights for our securities to be attached to the property. So they're trying to reattach the paper that wasn't valid to begin with. It was capitalism paper. And the Constitution speaks against that. The Fifth Amendment's taking clause. So what does our mercantile actions have to do with that? Is that the more we get our stuff moving around and things like I don't care if it's sending out one pine cone, send out something. Start sending things out. Because the more we do that, all it's doing is solidifying our financial standing. That's all it's doing. And not that we've always been financially standing, but this is due process, letting everyone know. Every time we send something out from here, the ancestors show us something else. And we see more of that fakeness. You know, they're running scared, I'm telling you, because they already know that everything is already ours. It's already ours. It always has been. And so here's the thing. It's not that we're greedy, but our ancestors said, get it done.
Well, see, what you're saying is right. Because I went through a foreclosure, and I'm like, man, something ain't right. I got to find out what I need to do to get back what's mine. But now from listening to what you're saying, I just follow the process. I'm going to get it back anyway without going through all the stuff behind them.
Yeah, you don't have to run behind them. You just have to get yourself straight. Because, see, that's really what this is all about. We were the ones out of order, as it were, in the enactment. We were the ones who were not standing up being ourselves. We was busy trying to be in all capital letters and black ink. And that's not how this works. So, you know, when they talk about the republic, that's what they're saying. Go back to being the actual people, because the public is the people, not persons, as it were. So what we did was we created our own person, and we said anything they talking about, all we did was decouple who, you know, the person that we govern. They don't govern our person, we do, because we created our person, but we had to create her and him.
Right.
And so as soon as we did that, then all the property decoupled also, because a person is property. And once we did that, they started talking about, they coming back for all the stuff. You know, it was always our stuff. Now, does that mean we're going to be mean? No, we're not mean. We don't have to be mean. We don't have to war. We can be sweet as honey. The ancient writings say, be as smart as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. That's what we're doing. Yes, everything belongs to us. We know that. So with this merchant piece, oh my word, the things we've been seeing, just not one stone of that previous enactment of fraud and all of that will be left standing by the time we're done. Not one stone. And a stone is actually a writing. A stone is a writing. So there's someone in the chat, Elohim Tamaktu. I'm not sure if you're having problems or not, but everyone else can hear. So I'm not sure why you cannot, and the chat is working. We can see your chat as well. So now, merchants. There's a couple of things that I willed to show you besides the great taking piece. You have to look at that because it's just an affirmation of what they're saying. It's already done. They're trying to fight to claw back and try and reattach the paper to the property. That's what they're trying to do in the great taking. It's already done. So with that being stated, there's a couple of things. The first thing we will to establish is that as soon as possible, like ASAP, like right now, get the 40 documents done, please.
Okay.
Because you cannot move any, and this is for everyone, you cannot move any further until those documents are done. Is there anyone who has not completed the 40 documents besides Justice David?
Islam. I have not.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty.
I'm shameful to say because I should have.
Oh,
I have them. I've looked through them.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the ones that should be done.
Yeah.
Then I stopped and I didn't do anything else. And
we thank you for that. Because you can be open and candid and truthful and honest with us, and we will not judge.
Gratitude, but I will to know. It's the mailing.
Yeah.
So the return address is the address that comes back to you.
You can change that. In your documents, you can always put your mailing location there.
Okay. Well,
we just put it out there like that just so that everyone will know where to put things and how to format the documentation. But by all means, our documents should look similar, but you're the sovereign for your documentation, just like I'm the sovereign for mine. And then we are all sovereign together.
Embraced and accepted.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it returning, to you, as I have seen in previous videos posted.
Yeah.
I don't have. It's just that I wasn't sure, and I'm glad I was able to ask now because I just was too nervous to ask. I'm not the talkative one.
You don't have to be nervous with us.
I'm the great listener over here. I listen. Yeah. I'm here for everything, and but the talkative thing, not yet. I'll get there.
You know what? Be where you are. We love you still.
I love you.
We know you're still the powerful Empress Yamaya. We're not even worried about that.
Gratitude.
So what we're stating though is, as you're starting to send things out, get the 40 documents done because it's going to show you, and then
yes,
we will to proceed competently and safely.
Yes.
And there's protection in the knowledge and the information that is within you, and documents help bring that out in you, that you know that you are the all.
Yes.
And that's important as we move forward because we've established our own everything, and all we're doing now is moving forward with it. And let me tell you, there has to be someone at Canaan land who's been doing some work because there was an enacted turning over of a Delta Airlines flight. and we're not rejoicing in any of that. What we do see, though, is as we're doing what we're doing, their capitalism is falling, and those things, those enactments make it so that the industry that seemed like it would never stop, it starts to slow down. People are hesitant to get on to the planes, but that's the only way to stop. It's the only way to stop that commerce and that fiat from flying around. It has to be done that way by them. It has to be done that way. Or else, because people would never stop, they wouldn't stop on their own.
No.
They would not stop on their own.
This shift that I am witnessing, that I am seeing,
yes.
If I wasn't in Congress and if I wasn't knowledgeable, and I thank you, Empress, this shift would throw me, into a big loop, but it's not. It's making me stand firmer because I understand what's about to happen.
Yeah, it's already happening. That's the thing. It's already is doing what it does.
It's wow.
And see, the thing is, those who chose not to wake up until later, those things also assist them in waking up. Because they're wondering. I had someone who, they know what we do, they know who we are. They are, in fact, more as well, but they're still wanting to be asleep and wanting to preach and all of this. I had, but we've been very close for 40 years. We've been very close since I was a teenager. And I had them say that it seems like everything is stopping. Everything is stopping, like the commerce and all of that. It seems like it's all stopping. And they don't, I don't think they know. I don't think they watch the videos. I don't know. People will never tell, some will never say we watch every one of them. Others will say that, but those that are close, like my kin, and they would never say we watch what you're doing. So I don't know if he watches, but he said out of his own mouth just 2 weeks ago, it seemed like everything is stopping. And I'm like, I thought, I didn't want to go too far into it because, man knows not by being told. But I said I kind of had an expectation that things would slow down, and that's all. I just left it at that. And then I went into I willed to give him some hope about the situation because they only see, just like when we were asleep, we only saw one side of everything. One side of everything. We saw the side that the funny mirror wanted to show us. We didn't see this side. So even when I look back at, for example, when we were in church and they were saying, pay tithes and God will give you 7 times 70 of all you. That's true when it's the right God, which is you. And it's also true when you know the process to get that back, because we were supposed to be filing documentation to get that back. Repeatedly, we were supposed to be getting tithes back. Some people could get it back 100 or 1,000 times. Whatever tithes they paid, they knew how to work that system and get that back repeatedly. But see, they only gave one side of it, and they knew the other side, so that's how they got wealthy. And we were still sitting up in church, clapping like ignorant seals,
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to tell us that they went to the Internal Revenue and got a big lump sum at the end of it. They weren't going to tell us that. They weren't going to show us how to do that. I watch them now, and I see that, they're busy telling people to that they're blessed and that they're trying to give them hope. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just show them your tax returns? And then they'll know. But that's the last thing. They'll speak in tongues all day, and I'm not mad at them. We're not mad at that. They're free to do whatever they will to do, but That's one thing they're not going to do. Out of all of those preachers that you've ever seen, they'll do a whole bunch of backflips and stuff about that stuff and tell you all types of stuff. They're not going to show you their tax returns, period. The only ones who see that is the board members, and that's sometimes. Not even the board members see that sometimes. Only the accountant and the one that's making the most money off of that, quote unquote. So what we're doing now is we've set ourselves up, stood ourselves up to reap the wealth and the benefits by our own hands. So that's what the 40-something documents is about also, is making it so that as we pass wealth back and forth, because listen, one pine cone is worth more than all the fiat that's ever been printed because it's real. So let that sink in. And most of y'all got that already, But what we're doing now is so major. We're seeing the most shifting that we've ever seen every time we send out one lump of charcoal or something. And we're sending out, 6 and 7 parcels per shipment. Our ancestors know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. We see major shifts happening. So merchants, the first thing we will to iterate is please get the 40-something documents done, please. All merchants must have that done, because you're also going to be going out onto the land and pulling from the land, and there has to be proper accountability there. That is what the currency controller is all about. That office is, and the treasurer, because we're all treasurer too, we're all secretary for state, secretary, treasurer, and all of that. So that means we have to keep the records. And the records they're not difficult to keep. They're not difficult to keep. It's very, very, very simple. Keep it as simple as you can. It's so simple that we don't even need a computer to do it if we chose not to do that. We can literally do like my mother and them did when they first started keeping records and write everything down. And then they used to keep a manual, what they called a manual copy, a handwritten copy, and then they started doing it into the computer with microfiche and then all of the other things that came. But let me say this about the computer piece too. The Great Taking, what they're saying is that they were tricked into computerizing all of that stuff and not keeping a certificate and not keeping a stock or anything. They're saying they were tricked into that, and now they don't have any hard copies or any proof of anything. And I'm like, because we're the ones who we create all of that, and it's valid because we're competently creating that. But they're saying that most people, even if people will things to their heirs or who they thought were their heirs, they willed them to their kids. The kids can't. You got to have something that is valid in writing. You can't just copy something in black and white and say this is the certificate for $1 million that my mother left me.
Right.
No, you can't do. No one's going to accept that. No bank. No one's going to accept that. You have to have originals that are stamped and sealed with raised embossment on them, and preferably a gold medallion, but if not, a right red thumbprint or a right blue thumbprint. It has to be that. You have to have actual and it has to stay in your possession. Everybody else gets copies when you're sending out notification in preparation for continuing merchant actions. Because let me tell you this about the merchant piece. When I realized this, I just thought we got more money than we'll ever spend, or vest rather. But we know what to do with it. So here's the thing. And I'm going to mute your microphone just temporarily, Justice David. If you will speak, you can just *6 whenever you will to make a statement, Islam.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me say this about our customer base. We can call them customers or we can call them consumers. Does anyone know the difference between a customer and a consumer? Think etymologically. Think about the root word to both of those, customer and consumer. First of all, oh, go ahead, Empress.
Well, consumer, of course, that would be like the little Mario things, eating everything up. That's someone who takes in. Now, I looked up customer.
Mm-hmm.
Customs official, toll gatherer.
Yeah.
That is the ones who collect it all. It's so interesting, and yet, out in the former era,
mm-hmm.
they tried to make us both customer and consumer, because at sometimes they would refer to us as a customer.
Yes.
But the truth was, we were actually collecting for them. In that, if you really look at it in that backwards funny mirror,
yeah.
and
yeah.
we were consuming, and at the same time, we are the creditor. And that's where the whole thing was going, that we were really consuming and popping it out for them. And in the midst of it all, we were always the losers.
Yes. You see, Empress, I'm so grateful for you, just so that you're aware, and I tell you that all the time. I'm grateful for all that are here. Empress Shasha in particular, because she is so well versed in etymology and knowing things, just like, most of us are like that. She's just more vocal, so I just love it. So the root word of consumer is sum. Sum is Latin for all. But if you are a consumer, that means against all.
Right.
That makes you an individual. One person consuming. Consuming, that means you're pulling from the all for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then customer, the root word for customer is the same root word for the word custody. That's why there was a push to remove the term customer from us and make us consumer only. Because then we didn't have custody of anything. We just took what was given. So yes, so consumer, Justice Your Highest, what you stated is true in this context, where the consumer can have whatever they want to consume with limits. Because the system is not going to let you just consume at will. It's not going to do that. That's not why the system works. That's not how, unless you're one of us. And that's where discipline and all of that comes in at for us is we can have all that we will. If you like lobster, for example, and I'll just use that as an example, you can have 1,000 lobsters a day if you can eat that many, but who does that? We're not going to do that. We're going to take it just enough to enjoy, and then the rest we tribute on and move on to where it's going. Or we put it in, take 10% for yourself if you choose to have 10%, because that's still going to be a whole lot. But see, to the Lord goes the 10%, the tithe. That means you pay yourself 10% of whatever comes in first. I tribute 10% of the salt that we create to us. Now, yes, Justice Kyle says consumers waste. They just take in and don't give out. So therefore, they don't anything in their custody. Just by their own consumers, just by their own activity, they rob themselves, because everything that comes to them, they consume. That's why they say never get high on your own supply. And I know that's street language, but it's because you'll consume everything and you rob yourself of custody of it, And then every time someone comes to you, because see, you will that people come for whatever it is, they be compelled, go out into the highways and the byways and compel men to come. Well, you can compel them by having a supply. Just like grocery stores. When we know that the land, they're getting everything off of our land anyway. Right? So we move beyond being consumers and customers to being providers and suppliers, and it's even greater than supply. It's being having dominion over, and all of those behaviors and activities are a part of that. So we just like our great Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey told us. He said, because I asked him, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? And if we have to do things like create our own money and all of this stuff, how are we going to do this? He said, and this to this day just is so true. He said, everyone on the front lines will have all their burdens relieved. He knew that we would do it ourselves. I'm telling you that as with each package that goes out, each parcel that goes out, another something is the needs. And they're not even needs now, it's just things that I will to have. They're happening. And this is what that looks like. Let me tell you what that looks like. That looks like having the answer to the documentation, so that if there was, so that as the great taking happens, we don't lose anything. In fact, we gain everything. Because see, this is our workspace, but this is a domicile also. And so the ancestors say, okay, like, do this, restate the deed, do a lien, levy, and a bond, do this, make it taxed, not taxed. And they showed us another something with that as well recently. And so that is what, because the great taking is happening already. So for those who have had an eviction enacted on you, that was the spirit saying, okay, first the spirit was showing you how evictions happen. That was number one. Number two, that was also the spirit saying, now that you know the process, you'll get back many domiciles. You'll have many of those. That's not even the issue. You'll have your choice of those. You get first choice on everything. We get first choice on everything. However, we know the process, and we won't have any problem doing the process because we know it. So that's what's happening right now in terms of with more of us doing merchant things based on trust first, because it had to be based on trust. It had to be based on trust and honor first. Then it can be done at the commercial level, because that's constitutional. There are offices for honor, which is the highest office. That's the office that you don't collect a paycheck for that office. The honor offices, you don't do that. That's our court action by affidavit on Moorish government letterhead. Those are offices for honor. Then there's office for trust. Trust is the office secondary to the honor. There's trust. And when you're working in trust, that's what we're doing now is the trust thing. That's the piece that people didn't think we were going to be able to do. Is trust one another and just start sending out things properly without fiat being a motivator. Do you know how huge that is? And do you know how many people cannot do that? But we've decided to do it, and let me tell you, the reward is so great. We won't have a story like what Job had. We won't even have that story where Job went through all this craziness before he got the message that, oh, you're not supposed to have it in that black jurisdiction. You're supposed to have those things in this jurisdiction. Then you can have all that you will. You know. So that's not our testament. Our testament is more like Solomon. More like Solomon and others. He's not the only one. And Sheba, the Queen of Sheba. So where merchant actions are concerned, again, first the 40-something documents, not just the first 6, but all of them. That is what we suggest that everyone do, and it's actually for your merchant things to enrich you and to make you prosperous, which you already are. This is just manifestation of it. Those 40-something documents must be on the public record, and the system will check it. The system will check it. So that's one of the most important things that we willed to put forth. But also, there's a couple of other things. As merchants, your money, and this is the part that I absolutely just am seeing, and I love it. We know that the gold and the liens and all of that, we know that backs our money. We know that. But if you will to see the system respond to what you're doing and honor your money, what you produce from the land causes the system to open up. And anything that you will to purchase or buy or do an exchange on, your money, not fiat, your money will be honored for that because you're producing. Production has an element to it of open doors. And that's why we stated that even if you just have one pine tree where you have taken with your own hands the needles off the pine tree, and you go home and you crush them up, and you get some coffee filters and you tie them up in a coffee filter with some needle and thread or whatever you choose. Tie them up with that, package them up, and start sending them out. Now let me state this, or allow me to state this. I have to make sure I state things properly. There's no shortage of customers. And that's why we brought up the customer piece. Because what we have done is, first we put the call out to the Congress about the items. And we stated that if anyone wills to have salt, the saltwater minerals that we offer and any of the other products, give us your address and the sovereign-born appellation that your mother gave you at birth. We are filling those orders first, and then what we're doing is we're just going to automatically, anyone out there, any place that has an address is a customer. Any place that has an address is a customer for a client, a consumer for our products. And as we send it out, we can automatically pull from the trust and put that on our records. So every address around here, because you know we have our own way that we state the addresses, we spell everything out because there are no substitutions or anything. We spell everything out. Every address, we could send one product to every address at Washington, not state of Washington, but Washington, the land. And this is Washington, West Coast Washington, and ancient Washington. We could get every address around here and just send one product to everybody based on the records. And all we're doing is the same thing that was done in 1913 to 1933. Remember in 1913 to 1933, when all the quote-unquote birth certificates were revised and put on the record as if we agreed to that when we didn't, by the fiat mongers. All they did was just look at the records and start and say, okay, we'll just recreate all of this. All these records, we'll just recreate them. Well, for us, it's the same thing. All we're doing, first restate the address that's on the records. And when I say records, those are not real records. We're actually making the real records as we send things out. They don't have to they don't have to request the item, because in reality, they're not even in the right place. We have to put them on the land and then send them the product. And we do that by properly stating the addresses. So if I were to send someone near here a product, and I'm going to do that, everyone will get products here, around here, because they need to be brought back on the land. We're first bringing the domiciles back on the land. And everyone who, if I were to send it to someone, then everything would be spelled out. And it wouldn't have a mailing, it wouldn't have a zip code, quote unquote, because that's not really, when they say zone improvement that's not the land. The land doesn't need improving, it's already the land. So we use post office codes, and the numbers look the same, but they're restated by us as post office codes. So are there any questions about customer base? You don't have a shortage of customers. As long as there's addresses all over the world, then you have that much wealth where you can send something and book it, put it on your records as a sale, because you're pulling from the trust. Okay, now those records, as we continue doing this, everything is manifesting. The banking is manifesting. Everything is manifested already, really. They were waiting for us to do this. So as we do this, you're going to see where if you have, let's just say you have $500,000 in sales on your record, you will literally be able to, with proper classification of whatever it is that you're doing, and that's a simple process, you'll be able to say, I have this much. How much is this conveyance? I'm going to use this conveyance for my business. I have $500,000 on the books. If the conveyance is $150,000, which is that's a little bit of a stretch, but we're still going to say it anyway, because it's a business expense that you can deduct also, because you're going to get that $100,000 or $150,000 that you spent, that you vest, you're going to get that back 5 or 6 or 7 up to 100 times if you really know how to get that 150,000 back. Okay. Those actors previously acting as Donald Trump and Bill Gates and all of that, they knew how to do that. And we're showing you how to do it also. We're doing it ourselves, even as the ancestors reveal all of this to us. So that 150,000 that you spend for a conveyance for your business, or even for you personally, you can get all of that back first as a deduction for our internal revenue, not some foreign one, not the one that everybody thought was the one. No, we have our own internal revenue, and we send it. And again, the difference being how you state the address. And the system will open the door and have the conveyances where they're supposed to be, which is in your driveway, parked where you will for them to be. So this is, we're all extremely, extremely wealthy. These actions is what you call putting faith and works together. Faith is really fate, F-A-I-T. Faith and fate are the same. Your faith in your own money system will determine your fate, which is wealth and abundance and riches. Are there any questions about what we stated here thus far? Any questions about Islam, Empress?
I just want to add one more thing to my old friend. Je fais, the verb to faire is to make, to do. So fate, so it's spelled F-A-I-T, je fais would be I make. So it's the same thing.
Yes. It means create, really.
It means to create, exactly, because when we do, we create.
Yes. And I'm Empress Shasha, when I think about how wealthy you are, I'm like, wow, you got way more, because you can go right out in your yard and just pull.
Listen, I had my ladder out today. I was harvesting moringa seeds, moringa leaves, ackee, which I actually ate the fruit, the ackee, but some leaves from the tree.
Yeah.
I was sun drying some eucalyptus.
Ooh, all the good stuff to make a smoothie.
Well, that, and to make tea, oil, all kinds of things. And I was really, as I was doing it, and the sun was beating down on me, and I was really thinking about what we are doing and how I'm taking from the earth. I'm taking from me. I mean, it's a reciprocal thing. It's just, and I just thought about what we are creating from what has been given to us. And maybe we don't see it as the wealth, but from the wealth of the earth will come the wealth in the material things. You know, it's a transmutation, but it's the same thing, and it has to come from the divine source. I am the divine source. And it's me connecting with the divine source on that level, which then will come full circle right back how I will it to be. So we're really transforming from the and the dirt and the different to what we will bring into our driveways or over our heads when that time comes. And that's really where my mind was earlier today, when I was out there climbing ladders and picking things and just
because all of that can be sun dried. It can be dried and then put in a plastic bag, and you can just suck all the air out to vacuum seal it and then mail it.
And some of them, and I have other things, like I have these, and you'll see them when I come, but I have these trees that have calabashes, and you can make bowls and cups and different things. And so this is I'm telling you all in advance here. But
yes.
Package the leaves, the teas, in the cup, in package, but then when you get this, that packaging is your cup that you can drink your natural tea from.
Oh, wow. I love it.
So you will see them. But that's where, and these are just trees that the first one with the teacup, the teardrop, this tree just appeared by itself. I didn't plant it. The ancestors came and dropped it there because they knew that this time, 14 years later, how many years later, I would be here with all of us and doing what we're doing, creating what we're creating. And I tell you, I could drop a tear when I think of, and they are teardrops. That's why I say they're teardrops, because I say that tree was put there and they came growing, not the round ones, but the teardrops, because of all the tears I had shed prior to this and didn't know about the tears I'd shed after. But anyway, it's all beautiful waters, and so I yield.
Yes, Empress. Ah, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Islam nobility.
Empress, I wish to share, the ancestors revealed to me a video where they were showing how we can grow, for example, ginger in water.
Ginger in water?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I'm gonna research that, and I'm gonna start that with different herbs and vegetables and things.
Yes.
In addition to what I have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The whole earth has been looking at us going, all they have to do is get a cup and a seed.
Yes.
But instead they want to go to the club and just make it rain with stuff they don't even have. That's why I'm so glad we're here. Empress Shasha, I thought about what you said and nobility, what you're saying about the seeds. That seed piece is powerful, because I found out today, because I love coffee, but I know that coffee is not, the kind out there is not always the best for us. I found out today that you can take any seeds just about, but preferably seeds from things like dates or avocados or whatever, and roast them in the oven first, and then grind them up into coffee grounds, and you use them like you would coffee. So like an avocado seeds and things like that, you can grind that up in a blender into small little grounds the size of coffee grounds, and hot water, pour it in, and strain out the seeds, and add you some honey, and you got you some coffee. And they were saying it tastes just like coffee. But I'm just thinking about how good that would be for us. How
so true. Yes.
Yeah. Empress, I didn't know. I did not know that we were that wealthy.
Well, and healthy, because all those seeds also, they're medicinal. They have medicinal qualities. There's the other one they have here, which is dandelion.
Yeah.
It's used as a coffee, and in fact, one of the other things I've been collecting is the ackee seed.
Yeah.
Because all of these can, just like you said, so you can use it as a tea.
Yeah.
It's a medicine. It's also, you can put it in your water, and
yes.
we're just so, we don't need any of those other things that we were trained into.
Mm-hmm.
White coats and hospitals, those types of things. We really, because every medicine was given to us on the earth itself. You know.
Yes. Oh, Empress, I'm excited for us, because we were collecting seeds here, and now I know why. to tribute. But see, the Biblios, the ancient Biblios also says that through us, all the nations of the earth will be blessed.
Yeah.
All we have to do is do what we're doing right now, is get it started, get some things out. And here we're pacing ourselves. We're pacing ourselves. We don't try to do everything all in one day. We just pace ourselves and take our time and package things up. And I'm also, eruditing Empress Ravana here, and so I won't have to do a thing in just a minute, but study and and share information, So this is also, speaking of our heirs, this is also a way for us to provide, I won't say employment, I'll say a future for our heirs. This is how you do it. This is how that's done.
Islam, Empress.
Islam, Empress.
Islam. Oh.
Being able to also provide it as a ministry for our heirs to carry on.
Yes. 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 I'm so excited for us. It's just, I'm amazed.
Islam,
Empress.
Yamaya again. For the past 3 to 4 years, it might be, I might be going on my 4th year. I've been buying seeds.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of seeds. And my goal was to start a homestead on some property in Georgia. But it just hasn't kicked off yet. But I'm still buying seeds, and I'm still preparing, and I'm still learning, and I'm still figuring out how to do this. I wanted to have a well, I already started a business plan for it. Like it's called You Pick, You Harvest, Sustainable. You Pick, You Process, Sustainable Harvest. And with that, I would have produce and some livestock. Not anything large, but then I would teach people how to harvest and teach them how to process the livestock. And, of course, it'd be really community based. And the children must be involved, So I had big plans for that. And my plans I still have the same plans, And then, of course, I always I haven't figured out how the Dollarium would play in that, And so if I ever, with Allah's will, if I ever get that off the ground, that I believe that I would be very happy with myself, because that would be a big contribution to our government and to our nation.
So, Empress,
yes, ma'am.
If I may make a suggestion about getting it off the ground, take what you have right now and use it and move forward. Don't wait. You have something now that you can get started with. You said you have the seeds. Okay. If it is your will, go ahead and start growing them or tributing them or something. Get started on that right now.
I'm hoping I could do some seed bartering and swapping with Empress Sasha, because she has some seeds that I want. I'm hoping I have some that she needs.
The quickest way to get it started is to just go ahead and send it, Empress.
Right.
Go ahead and send. And keep moving. And go ahead and send it out to whomever you will. And just make sure you record what you did, and just keep moving. That means off the ground already.
Yes. Embrace and accept it. Gratitude. I yield the floor.
Islam, and I still have those mango volunteers, all mango trees for, and those can come. They're still small, so those can come. So absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Empress Shasha, we gonna get a private, personal plane and come out there, because it's gonna be enough of us trying to get out there to Empress Shasha, so we can just exchange goods and things.
That absolutely, and
enjoy the weather.
Absolutely. That time is nigh. Honestly, it's close.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's all in the paperwork. It's all in the documentation. And then the send the things out. Listen, none of us have an excuse. Not one of us has an excuse for not going ahead and starting to tribute out.
Yep.
I would like to make a suggestion that each of us, and they didn't ask for this, they don't even know I'm saying this, but just as a tribute to those who have assisted us along the way, that we at least pull something from our inventory and gift it to House of Reawakening Minds. You can send it, and put it towards Grand Sheikh Taj or Empress Nyla Gilliam, or any of the others, and again, we will to honor them for keeping the door open for us and getting the information to us, that we gift them with something along the way. Just gift them with something, and that way you can test your mailing process, and you can see how the movement and the shipment of things is working and all of that. And that's a suggestion. You all can do what you will. If you have others that you will contribute to, then do that. Whatever your spirit says.
I love that idea, in particular, for, as you say, House of Reawakening Minds. I just know in my being that will shift or lift. I love that idea, because I don't know. I won't say any. I just think it's such a wonderful idea, because it will also tie back.
Yes.
Weaving in of those, the ether. It's just a washing together, and I just absolutely love that idea, and I absolutely will be doing that.
Yeah. The ancestors put that on our hearts over the last 24 hours, just to do that, and I'm sure that it it will get where it's going. It will be what it should be, because it's important that even as we continue this movement that we're doing, because this is a movement. It's a movement.
And it's you think about
they said it couldn't be done. They said we couldn't do it. That's the part that I'm just getting goosebumps about. Is
and
we
did know, when you think about it, also movement. There has to be movement in money, movement in
currency.
Currency. And it also is anciently, we are the moon.
Yeah.
V is life, and ment is the mental.
Yes.
That the trifecta, that all of it is in order.
Yes. Yeah.
How and why this movement that cannot ever be stopped. It may have been dammed and blocked, but it was never stopped.
Yeah.
And it's free flowing.
Yeah. I'm just grateful, Empress Shasha and Congress that we have that we all can see. Because see, some were not going to move if there wasn't fiat attached to it. We have just booted that thing out the park. And that's the part that I love, is that it doesn't cost us anything but some energy to go out there and pull it. Then we can dehydrate it, or however we will to tribute it, however we will, and it can be anything: fruits, vegetables, tea, coal, charcoal, fruit seeds, salt. It can be any of that. You know, we will to have some red clay, you know, something simple, because we know we can make things. Yes, we can make things from that. Where are you, Empress? Oh, that's right. You're at Texas territory, Empress.
Yes, indeed.
And it's plenty of red. Oh, Texas is red clay. That's the clay that's filled with all of those nutrients. We used to eat that when our grandmothers used to eat the red clay when they were pregnant. That was their prenatal vitamins. And so it has so much in it. But I will to make bowl mokahete. Mokahete is the bowl that has the thing that where you grind, you pound the.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. The only name I know is mokahete. That's what they call it. But the English call it something else. I don't know what they call it.
Pestle.
That's it. That's the word. Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, we call it mata.
Mata.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Mata.
That I will to have a stone one, because I have, you know, because you can grind up seaweed and dehydrated things and tribute them into the salt and the things. But we have no excuse. We have no excuse. No excuse to be extremely wealthy. No excuse.
Islam, Empress.
Islam nobility.
Anthony Jadising, making territory.
Yes, nobility.
Peace and grand rising to all the Moors, of love and respect to the house.
Yes.
As I am listening, and I heard you mention about grinding up the seeds of the avocado, and you could give it like a coffee base product. Okay. I'm willing. I will to participate with a certain product. Yes, a very special one. Very special. And Empress Sasha knows about it also.
Yes.
The name of it is called Bizzy. Bizzy. Now, this is a medicinal product, and it's very powerful. And it drinks like coffee or tea.
Yes.
Now, this thing, the main purpose of this thing is to dispel, or it's an antidote for insect bites like snake bites, centipede, scorpion, any type of insect. You've been bitten, you just make a cup, a tea with this. It expels the poison immediately. Yes, it also works with your brain. It does a lot of things to the body. And it is also a spiritual product. Yes.
That's the thing. All of our products are spiritual products, and all of our products are going to improve the health. All of them.
Right. I'm gonna go on the camera just to show you. All right. You see this? This is what it looks like.
Oh, there you are. Okay, let us get you here so we can see. Just a moment.
This is what it looks like in the. Can you guys see me? All right. This is what it looks like in the powder form. It comes in the form of a nut. But when you grate it on a grater, it comes out like this, and you could boil it and drink it. Now, like 1 teaspoon could make 1 cup.
And see, Nobility, you wouldn't even have to send a thing that big. That could be four different pieces right there, because that's a huge.
No, I'm sending the nuts that this came. I'm sending the nut itself, and then whoever's going to use it, they could grate the nut, and you get the powder from it.
Beautiful.
And that's where you make your tea or whatever you want to do with it.
Yes.
But this is a very extremely powerful thing.
Yeah.
Antidote for any insect or animal bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it also works with the brain, and it works with other parts of the body. Good for your prostate. If you have prostate problems, this too will clear up your prostate. Does a lot of things to the body. I can't even name it. This is very good.
I'm reading mine right now, Nobility, and everyone on this call is thinking, how soon can they get some?
oh yeah, I'm gonna send it. I'm sending it.
I can hear it. I can hear everyone think. I can hear them.
I'm sending this. This is definitely going in the mail coming up next week. It's coming your way. This is coming your way next week.
Beautiful, beautiful. We look forward to it, Nobility, because can you imagine?
See, this thing grows, and it's crazy. This thing grows down here. It's a big, huge tree, and it grows wild in the country. Tons of it. You can book
with that bag that you have in your hand right there. You could book at least. I mean, you could book a few $1,000s onto your records with that one bag right there.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, one teaspoon of this thing, 1 teaspoon could give you 1 full teacup.
Yeah.
You could boil, or you could just pour the hot water onto it, let it sit, and then you sip it. And when I drink it, I don't sweeten it with no kind of sugar, no honey, no nut, because it's in its more pure form. It's more potent. Yeah. When you drink a cup of this, you feel like your head becomes light, and you feel like you just your mind, everything is just becomes open to the universe.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a serious thing. Busy. So I'll be sending this, and as long as the trees will continue to grow this down here, I'll be sending it on the regular.
Your books are already full then. You're already wealthy then. It's a wrap over there. That's what I'm saying. Look at, I mean.
It's very true.
This thing, the government hide this thing. They don't put it on the market because they know.
Hold it. Not the government. Not the government.
Right.
Not
correction, Empress. Yeah. They know the value of this thing, so they don't publish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not under their jurisdiction. That's why they don't do it.
Right.
It's not under their jurisdiction.
But this thing, yeah, they know. This thing is an ancient thing. This is from my great grandparents.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing, everyone has something at their territories just like that. Everyone. If you have a pine tree at your territory, you still got that.
The next thing I will to send, but this would be the start. But the other thing that I will to send also is this bush. It's called Circe.
Yeah.
And it's a blood purifier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cleans out your blood.
Yeah.
Diabetes. If you have diabetes, it reverses it.
That's the thing. See, everything we have does the same thing because we're natural. But see, we don't have what you have at this territory. We don't have that here, so we will to get it from you.
Yeah, but it has it. I'm committed. I'm committed to provide it. Let me have sugar from something. I'm committed to provide it.
Yes.
Right.
Get your books ready, Nobility.
Definitely.
Ready. Get your books ready.
See this?
Yes.
This is the Circe.
And see, that looks similar to what one of the subjects sent me as well. Just dried.
Okay.
It looks similar.
When you drink this, it's very bitter. That's what it is.
Yes.
And when you drink this purify your blood, clean out everything out your blood. Reverses sugar and diabetes.
There it is.
So I'll be, you know, as we go along, you know, I'll add this, and there's more products that I'll be adding along the way. Like the Virgin mentioned about the ginger.
Yeah.
I know farmers that grows it by the tons.
Yes.
So,
see,
you know,
all we will to do is have addresses to attribute it to so we can pull it into our books. That's it. Any address can be converted. They all must be. The same way they did the birth certificates in the 1913 to 1933. All they did was capitalize what was already there. Okay. And we're just uncapitalizing everything that's there. And that's why we can pull from the land, because we're not using capitalism. They had to go to the laboratories to do their thing because they are not natural. It wasn't natural. It was modified, genetically altered, you know. But look at all the stuff we have. Just with it's a few of us here, less than 20 of us here, and we have enough wealth between just this remnant.
And another thing that I will to send also, Empress, I have it by the tons with the soursop leaf.
Yes.
I have that by the tons.
No, Billy, we know you got about 1 million things over there. We could let you talk until tomorrow on all the stuff you got over there. But see, that's what I'm saying. All of us have that. If you all we have to do is just look at what's out there, do the research on what it does, whether it be a pine tree or some cherry tree. I have cherry trees and, you know, blackberries and all of that around here. All we have to do is do the research and then say, this is what it does, this is what it's for, because we, in our salt
right. I was about to mention that, because having the herbs and don't know the purpose of them, it wouldn't make no sense to use them. That's very important, Empress.
So you must put what it's used for in the packaging.
Right.
So, and that's what we did. We printed these really small labels, and it just and they're over there.
Also the instructions of how to prepare it.
Here they go. Yes, of what to do with it, how to prepare it. You know, just keep it simple. In each one of our packages, we put a card. It talks about the ancient matriarch Saltwater Minerals Company, which is like a subsidiary or a daughter company to the Puget Sound Agricultural Company. And if you look in the public laws, you'll see Puget Sound Agricultural Company listed in there. And then what I did was just put in very small writing what to do with it, a little bit about the company, and then these saltwater minerals are naturally created, and we want to emphasize that it's created by nature by evaporating ocean water from a protected Pacific Ocean inlet. Our salty minerals contain naturally occurring pure ions and elements, including chloride, sodium iron, magnesium, sulfur, iodine, potassium, carbon, bicarbonate, copper, and is a great source for vitamins A, C. Is hello nobility. We look at our future. Hello nobility. Great rising, beautiful. We are so honored that you're here, nobility.
All right.
You're so beautiful. So, and then it says it says it's a great source of vitamins A, C, and E, among others. So we just add everything on in there. It says our minerals do not contain impurities such as anti-caking chemicals or preservatives. This natural resource is good for seasoning foods, preserving foods, sprinkling in bath water, and also regulating blood pressure and promoting healthy digestion, among all other things. And then we put ancient matriarch saltwater minerals, and then we put our mailing location there. And then on the back, what we did, you all, because this is all about honoring Mother, and we would encourage you to do the same. We put a photo of our mother, our matriarch, on here with her turban on. My mother had her with her blue turban. And for us, she is the ancient matriarch for us. And then I said, this prepaid natural resource is brought to you by United States Treasury, Prophet Noble Drew Ali Trust, 1928, and 1928 is in Roman numerals, and the people who are the ancient Moroccan Empire. That's what we put, and we slipped this little card into each shipment really quickly of our saltwater minerals. It didn't take a whole lot. We didn't have to do a whole big giant affidavit because we put our affidavits and who we are on the public record already. You see? So the post office is accustomed to seeing our things come through. Different, so just go ahead and get started. Empress Rashida says, I grow and forage for herbs, barks, roots, seeds, leaves, flowers. I make tinctures, hair oils and creams, salves and tooth powders, capsules. Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. Empress, it's already there. You already have everything. We don't have any excuse to not be the wealthiest on earth and just to do the due process so that it's clear who we are. This is the step. This is the move. This is the movement. Islam nobility.
Empress, are we going to first exchange amongst ourselves as far as send it to each other?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Well, that's why we put it out there that to please put your address and your sovereign born appellation in the chat. So if we could take the time to do that now, everybody will have each other's, and we contribute to each other first, and then tribute to any other addresses that you will. Now, let me tell you this, Morris, about that whole tributing the address and all of that thing. We're also going to be tributing to the subjects who were previously acting as presidents and, governors and all of that stuff. And let me tell you why we're tributing there. Using the right address, of course, because we want to speak to them in their proper status. We're not calling them governors and things. They're subjects in the office of, always have been, always will be. But the point being that we're going to send to them all it is putting them on notice that we're doing what we said we were going to do. Putting them on notice. They got all the other things, okay? All the other notifications and things on the public record and all of that. All we're doing is bringing them onto the land yet again, letting them know that those offices are onto the land as well. And that way, it's also letting them know they can stop acting.
Yeah.
Particularly where we're concerned. Now, they may continue acting for those that don't know yet, and that's fine. They can do that if they will to do that, so that the sleeping Moors won't freak out. Because see, the sleeping Moors, some of them don't know we're doing all of this. I think about some of my clan members. If the quote unquote governor and the president quote unquote and all of them disappeared in one day, they would freak out. They would freak out. And we do not will that they do that. Everyone make sure you check the chat so that you can send to each other. I'm copying now. Also, and we'll put our information in there even though y'all already have it. Where that post office code is, whenever we do our information, so for example, and it should be in blue, I'll put it in blue. And you don't necessarily need this, but if you're gonna send it and you will to do that, you can. So again, post office codes are up to you as to whether you use them or not. Some Moors feel more comfortable using them, some don't. Okay, it's not a zip code though. Don't call it a zip code because that's not what that is. Let me state this also about what we're really doing. Thank you all, Morris, for the information in the chat so we can get you your thoughts and things too. But let me tell you what else we're doing, because this is something that the ancestors made clear to us. You remember that thing that they called the American dream? They called it the American dream, and they said everybody on earth wanted to live the American dream. They weren't talking about you. They were calling themselves Americans, and you were black. That in their enactment, just so that you're all aware. And then they used people like Oprah and John Johnson and a few others to keep us chasing, you know. And that's why every rap video had them making it seem like they were already living the American dream. That was just to keep us on the treadmill and keep us asleep. And so that thing called the American dream is it's a wrap on that one, because those weren't real Americans. And we know we're Moroccan. We are Al-Moroccans. We know that. There was something created called the American dream. Well, that thing is it's going the way of the dodo bird. Let me just put that way. And so what we're doing is, as we continue to manifest our reality, because this is our reality, this is the way the land was always. Prosperous for us, and all of that. And again, everyone's going to prosper, everyone's going to live better, everyone's going to do better because we're doing what we're doing. Okay? We don't have to get out there and genetically modify anything. We just pull it from the earth and tribute. And do that by trust and put the proper records in place, because these records are the beginning of banking. Okay? These are bank records, just so that you're aware. And we talk about that quite a bit. But it is necessary that we know what we're really doing here. Because as people come to us, the trade and everything is going to be going back and forth as well. And then you will automatically have to do the gold and silver thing. Gold and silver is going to be coming for what we're doing. Has anyone else heard that the gold has come back to the United States? Has anyone else heard that it's been shipped back? It's being, quote unquote, repatriated.
No, I hadn't heard that, but I did see something where the subject in the office of president was going to Fort Knox.
Yeah, they're all talking about the gold. They're all talking about the gold. All of them. So here's the thing. They're asking the question, where is the gold? That's their question. Where is the gold? The gold is what we're doing right now. Okay? First and foremost, we're the gold. We always were and always will be. There is no other, nothing else has value unless we have to value it first. Okay? So as we continue to send these things out, the reason that the gold is they're all talking about gold and Fort Knox and New York and all of that is that and West Point and all of that is because it's because of what we're doing right now. And if anyone wills to, as our businesses grow, we will include gold and silver in the trust. But we had to let everybody know the trust is working. And that's what we're doing right now, is perfecting our processes of getting things out to the people. We have to build the conveyance method by which the gold and silver come. And then, like as always, with any effective laser precision, sharp process, we perfect it first, then the gold and the silver and all of that. But with everything that you send out, with every parcel that you send out, what you're really doing is you're automatically backing your money specifically, each one's specific money. And the amount that you produce, that you put out there, and again, we have time. The amount that you put out there and that's on your books, the matrix knows, because mother can see what we're writing on our books and putting on our books. Doors open, left and right. Anything you will, you can have it. Anything. We've already prepared for it. Book it, put it on your books, and let your books speak for you the same way anything else does, all of the other writing. With that being stated, are there any other questions and comments and wisdom? Has everyone placed their mailing locations in the chat or on the screen for us to tribute to one another? Islam nobility.
As far as the books, we discussed before about having the books where we start with 100 million and then we deduct and add accordingly to, right?
Yes, but
no.
So make this a separate page, because that 100 million is the trust page.
Okay.
Right. And let's just make this clear that with regard to that, all of the resources that we're using right now are deductible from that as well. And that's deducting it once, but then you can turn around and deduct it from our internal revenue again by receipts, because we're supposed to keep all the receipts, even if you're using restated funds. Okay, even if because some of us are using restated funds in some things, to get the containers and the little plastic bags and things. We're just getting started. Okay. What we're doing is just using those restated funds until someone else produces whatever it is that we have. Okay. So to your question or your statement, what does your spirit say also about, what is your spirit telling you about what you said?
Well, you cleared it up when you said use a separate page.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And if anything needs to be adjusted, we can always do it later.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Yes, indeed. That's it. We have a separate page for our things that we have going out that we're tributing. And, boy, it adds up so quickly, the revenue, because that's what it is. It's revenue. Remember, more this revenue. And the revenue adds up so quickly with each address. And here's the thing. If you will to retribute back to the same set of addresses every month, like once a month tribute to them, and then pull from the trust, you're a trillionaire all over again. The same way they did government cheese, quote unquote, milk, and other products where they would just send that stuff out, and every month people was looking for it. Every month people were looking for it, whether they asked for it or not. Okay? Mm-hmm. So keep that as a separate record, a separate spreadsheet. Now, nobility, to your question also, I have the 100 million on one spreadsheet, and like maybe right next to it is revenue spreadsheet.
Okay, I got you.
Because again, even what we're doing, this is still each and every one of our estates as well. That's why we can just go outside and pull, because it's still our estate. It's the personal estate, and then together it's the whole vast estate. See, we are literally doing and being what Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the great Sheikh Taj has told us to do and be, by way of our own bloodline and birthright. Mm-hmm. So there we have it. That's how we do it. And just pick mailing locations. You don't have to call them. You don't have to ask them. Tribute it and book it. Tribute it and book it, because they're supposed to be blissed through the things we do anyway. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull up, Empress Shernette has put a spreadsheet in the chat. So, and she's asking if that spreadsheet is good enough. Let me see if I can get it on the screen. I don't know if I can. And while we're waiting for that to come up, do your records the way you will to do them, but you should always have the basic classifications and categories. First name that they govern, because that's what the sovereign born appellation is the names that they govern. That's the names of the people, not persons, but people. Just one moment. And really it is persons that we're tributing to. It's persons that we're tributing to, but we the people are doing that. Okay. And then we use our person for other things, but it's not in all capital letters. It's in capitis diminutio minima, which means the first letter capitalized and the rest of letters lowercase. And that's for the sending and the receiving mailing location. Okay. Any other questions, comments, wisdom? We won't hold you any longer. This is Islam.
Should we include the title as well? Like the LB or the more
you can. It is preferred that the sovereign born appellation is used because we've already reclaimed those. And when and here's the thing. The strategy behind that, or underneath that, behind it, or in front of it, the strategy is that as we're using sovereign-born appellations, that no fraud can say that we are their person. Every time you use your sovereign-born appellation, that means no fraud can send something and say, well, this is you, this is your debt, this is your this and that. That's not my person, that's your person. You pay the debt. If you're sending stuff like that. But we have ways to say that where we use our court and things, or we just turn it into a credit and then apply it to our person. And then somebody owe us some money. You know, if they send in a debt of $200 and they're saying you owe $200, I'm the real court, I'm the real whatever, mortgage, whatever it is, I'm the real one, I'm the real tax assessor, so I'm going to credit my person, and then you might get a bill if you don't stop sending that stuff out. But see, we can't be mad at them, we have to be competent to know how to say those things, you know. Right. Yeah. And that's where the blessing is coming from, is that we're peaceful and we're competent, and we know that we're not at war with anyone, and we know that they're not even talking to us, but we know how to rebut that properly, you see. And that's where the blessing is coming from. That's where the beautiful, peaceful energy is coming from. Okay. Any Islam Empress? I'm so excited that we were doing this. I'm just excited because I know what it means for us. Islam Empress.
Anajel Mahat Kabade, Canaan Territory.
Islam Empress.
Yeah, so greetings, Congress, Grand Rising. I have a question about the trust. So you mentioned here about the personal versus our vast national estate. Can you speak a little bit more about that, just for more clarity?
So the personal estate is our individual estates that are contained within the vast estate. Okay. So when we send things out, so for example, if I sent something to you, I wouldn't be sending it to the government or the United States. I would be sending it to Empress Anajel. That is the personal estate of Empress. So I'm pulling from the trust of Empress Anajel's estate. And she's doing the same thing when she sends me something. She pulls from my estate the funds, and she's gifting my estate she's tributing seeds or plants or something. We're enriching each other's estate all at once. That's the personal estate. That's the government tributing to the estate. So when you send a product to me, that's the government sending me something, sending my estate something. When I send you something, then I'm the government sending your estate something. It's like a public and a personal connection. public and personal connection. Because, see, what we contribute to anyone. That's the government. The government tributes these things to everybody.
Yes, yes.
And then they pay from a personal trust. It's from their personal estate in the national trust. Okay?
Yeah.
Because, again, all we're doing is enforcing and affirming the fact that each one of us has our own vast estate, but we're also the government at the same time. And what we're doing is switching turbines real quick, going from a personal turban to the governmental turban.
And when we write it in our records, do we reflect that you know that we are holding both offices, or that we're moving? Well, I don't know, conveying from one estate. Well, no, because it's one inside the other. I get it. Okay, it's
so Empress, the fact that you have a spreadsheet with all the different estates listed on them is automatic. It's automatically stating that you're the government with the spreadsheet tributing to the people, and you're tributing to each one's estate. Because, see, government was supposed to be enriching the people, not taken from the people. It was supposed to be given to the people. But the government does have an interest in the products and things. So just by virtue of you having a spreadsheet says you're the government, that you're governing some resource. But because you, Empress Anagel, are in other people's spreadsheets, other government heads' spreadsheets, means that your estate is also a part of the process. So it's almost like you're an individual when you're on somebody else's spreadsheet, but you're the government because you have your own, which means that you're not a consumer, you're a beneficiary, and you're also the government. Yes. That's why it's important for all of us to do it.
Point of interest. So it's like functioning in capacity then, dual capacity, like you're being the people and you're being the government at the same time, and you're activating the estate by trading, by doing this transaction.
Being the trustor, because you're writing the trust as well.
Right, okay.
So you're wearing all the turbans, you just switch them real quick, and you receive some stuff, and then you switch the turban and you issue some things, and you switch the turban and you're the bank, and then you switch the turban again and you're the sovereign, holy one.
And more important, you're the creditor. Eh?
And then you're the Pope when it's time to bliss everything. What else? What else? We're the all. That's what all law is. And we didn't need anybody's permission to do all of that. And then, not only are you the bank, but you're the bank, but you're also the one whose estate is receiving all the money too. And then we come together and we say, okay, last year, ancient matriarch saltwater minerals took in this much revenue. We'll say, let's say $100 million in revenue. And if we reach 500,000 people, that'll be $100 million for us. And then we say, okay, how much did your company take in? And your company is government sponsored. Just like in China. See, China had it right, where the government will put the money up for the companies, which is what we're doing. Our money is our energy, okay, and our money system, literally. The government will put up the money for the company, and then have the people doing the company stuff. And then the company heads would come together and say, what laws do we need to put in place? Okay, so let's take the CEO, the chief hat turban off, and put on the Congress turban. The same way that the fakes did in those fake courts, where one minute they'd be the quote-unquote judge, the next minute they the beneficiary, and they leaving you the debtor. They switched That is the origin of the term. I take my hat off to you. That means I'm taking this hat off, and because you're wearing the hat, you have the authority. So we're just doing what is supposed to be done in terms of the processes. You know, we wear all the turbans, and some of us have 3 and 4 turbans on at one time. You know, all of us do, really, because we got spiritual dimension turbans, and we got physical dimension turbans, and we got some of us got some of that lower energy kicking in, and and some of everything, because that's all part of us too. You know, so that's how this works. We're all supremely wealthy. And now we can actually literally feel it and know it, because we are doing and being the tributors of the natural resources. Oil and gas ain't got nothing on us. We got so many resources at our territories that we can pull from and tribute. We get to price them. You know, we get to book them, send them out, and then talk about the revenue. And see, our revenue goes straight to the bank because we're the bank too. And you can have a separate spreadsheet for your deposits. This is the revenue that your company took in, and then you have another spreadsheet and say, I deposited that into the bank. But listen carefully, Morris. These records are the records that are necessary to be able to purchase things. And let me just say, that thing is wide open. It's wide open. Let us continue to unfold our economic power and authority, and we'll explain that to you. If you can't see it already, which most of you can see it already, how everything is working. This is the same thing. Can you imagine what the actors had to go through to enact the things that they enacted, to get us to thinking what we thought about them in the previous era? We thought that they were everything. We thought that we could never. That's just not true. And they were looking at us like, if the Moors don't help us, we can't do it. We can't trick them. So they're going to have to help us trick them. So with that being stated, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing merchant? Again, the takeaways are: make sure that you have the 40 documents done, prepare your spreadsheets, and then go out to the territories and look around you at what's closest to you and what's not closest to you, for those who have traveled, you know, who can travel out a little further in the territories. Look at what's there and see what you can do with it. If you see trees and you don't know what they mean, and it's an abundance of them, find out what kind of tree it is and find out what kind of medicine you can make with the leaves, and get ready to dehydrate a whole bunch of leaves. So you don't have to have a house. You can be in an apartment, you can be living with somebody, you can be in a 1-bedroom. It don't even matter. You can still produce. And that is your way out. That is your way to the wealth. It's produced right where you are. If you had told me 7 years ago that we were going to be here where we are right now, I would have said, you a bald-faced lie. No way. But here we are. We're here. It's true. And we did that with no job. We did it with no job, quote unquote. But we did work. That's for sure. Does everyone have everyone's mailing location as we adjourn? Does everyone have everyone's mailing location? I've just been taking photos of them because that's quicker for me, so that I can add them to the record.
And I will add these to the list, because I don't know. I'll check the list to see.
Oh, yes, Empress.
add them and then send it across to you.
I absolutely adore you, Empress Shasha. Because you're so she just, I love it when we make each other's lives so much easier and wealthier and more abundant. I just love it.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I will do. Can I share a story?
Empress Shasha, can you get everyone's email address who wills to have that same list that you send to us?
Well, I asked everyone. I got the emails off of the screen.
Yes.
I email Empress via Yamaya for her email. So unless your emails are not the emails that are on the platform, send me an email and I will make sure to get the video. Now it's been recording all along, but I got kicked out a couple of times, so there may be blips in there, but
it'll keep recording even though you're out, because it's happened to me many times. It just keeps recording. It won't stop until you stop it.
Wonderful. So I will take these additional emails and make
Empress Shasha, are you okay with putting this video up on your site and we can go look at your site for the merchant things?
Oh, sure. When it comes down, and I should be able to, when the recording comes off, I'll take it down just like any other.
Yeah.
I'm happy to. So
and upload it onto your YouTube and yes.
I will do that. I'll do that.
Is it okay for me to upload on my site as well? I have
Yes, please. The more prosperous.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I'll do that.
Yes. And Empress, what is your site? For those who don't know.
Please.
Okay. It's myamericas.net.
MyAmerican.net.
Let me spell it.
And that's on YouTube?
No, it's
a website?
It's a website.
Okay. How do you spell it, Empress?
I'm putting it in the chat. myamericas.net.
Oh, America.
Oh, okay. America.net. Okay.
Story quickly before, it's a short one.
Yes, Empress.
Speaking of everything that we're speaking about and the trees and leaves and medicines, and so 1 year, a couple years probably before Iris was transitioned, and I was on the deck and I had a moringa tree that it fell down in the storm, but there are others. But and the way the moonlight was and everything else, the seed pods, which can be, very long, were just glowing, but they were glowing like gold. Ooh. And I remember I said to Iris, oh my, look at these look like gold. These literally look like just pods of gold. And he said to me, I shared, they will be your gold.
See, Empress?
Literally, that's the thing. It's just so life is so interesting. It's so wonderful.
There are no coincidences.
There are none. It's just that, and that memory comes back periodically, particularly now that we're doing what we're doing. Yes. And it's like, he said it in just such a knowing way. Yeah. Like even stopped and said, well, yes, because it's going to be riches somehow. But I was just thinking in terms of the oils and, but in that smaller container that I, prior to all of this. Yeah. And as you stated earlier, this is the wealth. Yes. And it really is becoming the gold, because it is the.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
even the rocks on the beach can be ground up into medicine. I didn't know that, but they're made of elements from the ocean.
coral or things.
The darker the rocks have more iron and more of certain elements in them, and the lighter ones have more. I can't think of some of the other elements, but some of the other ones. That's something that can be researched as well. Because over in India, I saw men who had big boulders that they would just take this big random looking rock home, and I'm like, what in the world would they do with that? They were grinding those things up into little tablets, and each one is going to do some. See, we were told all kinds of fictional science about that, but when ground up into fine powder, and the Biblios talks about things being ground into fine powder and what happens when things are ground into fine powder. We have wealth everywhere. Everywhere. So let's just go ahead and move. Let's go ahead and do it. Proclaim and move on it. And all of those that we see on YouTube, any of those that we see on YouTube that are saying anything close to Moorish science or anything close to, even if they call themselves quote unquote Indians, we're gonna send them stuff too. We're just gonna tribute to them and let them know this is from the trust. Here you go. This is from the trust. I just love it. Our ancestors really know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing through us, through all of us. So with that being stated, if there be nothing further at this point from this amazing Congress, we will adjourn. Do we choose to meet weekly, or shall we meet once a month or twice a month, or what is your will on the meeting? Or we could call the meeting in the Congress.
Yeah.
As needed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I prefer I'm calling the meeting in the Congress.
Yeah. I think that's probably most productive at this point, is to just call the meetings. So in the interim, and we'll encourage those at Congress to get the 40-something documents done so you can join the wealth train, because this is Mansa Musa all over again. For all of us. So we know that the gold and silver and all of that is here, but we're the real wealth. So with that being stated, peace and grand rising to this amazing mercantile Congress. Islam.
Gratitude, Empress.
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
Islam.
Gratitude.
Islam. Peaceful slumber.
Islam. Thank you. Islam. You're welcome. Boy, I'm just amazed. Anytime we see a tree, we just wealthy. I love it. Islam.